Recently, I came across a situation where I had to process more than 900 different tables of data in Excel files. That data was structured into different sheets, then into different Excel files, and then into different folders. I'll show you the structure of the data in a bit. And I had to process that data in a very limited time, in a very short time, because we know that there are so many tight deadlines for us while working on data. Of course, there could be different ways to solve this problem, but what I did was to write a Python script to go through all the folders, then all the different files, and then all the different sheets within those files, get the data, and then compile the data into one file, which was given to me from my manager. So I decided to share my experience with you as well, so you can get a bit of information on how to process different Excel files whenever you need to using Python script. For that, I'll hide my face and I'll focus on the screen so you can see the entire screen and you can see the code clearly. First of all, we need to import some libraries in Python so we can work with Excel files. The first one is to import OS. This will help us in finding the files and folders. And then from openpyxl, import load workbook, because we need to load the workbooks into Python and then process them. Then we need a variable for the path. Let me add the path here. This will be the path to the main folder, and then you will have a list of files to store them in a list and then process them later. So let me paste the path of the files here. This is the path where all the files and folders are there. Let me show the files and folders to you. So this is the structure. We have this files parent folder. Inside that files folder, we have all these folders for each month of the year 2023, and inside each folder we have 10 files. Inside each file we have different sheets like team 1, team 2, team 3, and so on. In some files we have 4 sheets, and in other files we will have 8 sheets like this: team 1, team 2 till team 8. So in total we have 912 data sheets where we need to process all those data sheets, get the data from that, and then store all the data in this summary file. This summary file is structured like this. We need to add the month in column A, then the state, then team, and then we have patients, ARI cuff, ARI end till the end. So we need to process all those files, get the data, and bring it here. The data of each file looks like this. Let me show it to you. This is the table. First we have a disease like ARI, diarrhea, PCV, and so on. Then we have description of that disease. Then we have under 5 male data, under 5 female, over 5 male, and over 5 female. We need to get this data from all the sheets, and then we need to put this data into the summary file. Let me close this. So first of all, let's get all the files from all the folders. For that, we can run a loop for folder name, subfolders, and file names in os.walk. We need that OS library here, and let me pass path to it. Inside this, for file name, in file names, if file name dot ends with, if file is an Excel file, we need that file here, .xls6. So whenever we find this Excel file, we need to append that to this files list. So you can say that files dot append os dot path dot join folder name comma file name. So what we need to do here is to go through each folder, then inside that folder go to each subfolder, inside that subfolder go to each file, get the file, and if that file is an Excel file, we need to add that file name to the folder name to combine it, and then add the complete path to this files list. If I run this and I print the files here, let me run this. You can see that these are the files. These are the complete paths of each file. Summary.xlsx in April 2023, Alabama.xlsx, and so on. So this is the complete list of all the files that we have. We do not need to show that here, so let me erase this. Now that we have files here, we need to loop through each file and get the data. So for file and files, if file dot ends with .xlsx and file is not the summary file, because we do not want to process the summary file, we just want to process other Excel files and then store the data into the summary file. Not file dot ends with summary.xlsx. This is the if condition. Now we need to load each workbook, load workbook, and the file name is equal to os.path.join. Okay, we have the path variable, and from that path we need to take this file that we are processing, and then we only need to get the data. That's why we need to add this data only parameter, because if there are formulas and functions, we do not want to get that as well. We just want to get the data. So data only is true. Let's get the summary file as well. Summary workbook is equal to, again, load workbook. File name is equal to os.path.join. Again, we need to add path, and this time we need to get the summary.xlsx. If we go to the summary file, let me show it to you. The sheet name where we want to compile the data is all. So we need to get this all sheet and add data to this all sheet. So we can get that all sheet is equal to summary workbook and then all. So we can get a sheet from the file like this. Mention the file name, mention the sheet name inside brackets. Now let's run a loop to go through all the sheets of this file that we are processing and get the data, then add that data to this all sheet of summary file. So for that, let me run a loop for sheet name nwb.sheetnames. Sometimes in the Excel files there might be a sheet where they have totaled all the other sheets. For example, if there are 5 sheets in a file, then there will be a 6th sheet by the name of total to get the total of all the different sheets. To avoid that total sheet, we can add a condition. If total is in the sheet name, then do not process that. Process all those sheets where there is no total in the sheet name. So if total not in sheet name, then sheet is equal to wb.sheetname. So we are getting the current sheet where the sheet name is not total. We are assigning that sheet to this sheet variable, and now we need to process this sheet, get all the data from this sheet, and then assign it to summary file. So for that, let's get the data and then at the end add it to the summary file. So let's go to this file alabama.xlsx. Inside this sheet, let me expand this. We have disease, description, male and female, and the age categories, and inside the summary file we have this structure. So currently we need the month, then we need the state, then we need the team. These 3 variables we can get it later, and we can add this later. For now, let's process this part, the patients part. For example, we have patients here in row number 2, and we can get it from C2, D2, E2 and F2. So let's process this one first. Let me add a comment that we are processing patients first. So for patients, we have C2, and this will be patient less than 5 male. Then we will have patient less than 5 female, patient over 5 male, and patient over 5 female. So let's name our variables like this. We can say patients less than 5 male, and get the data from this sheet that we are processing. So this will be sheet. Let's mention the cell. While using the openpyxl, we can just mention the sheet. Inside this pair of brackets, we can mention the cell, and then we can get the value. So currently what we are doing, that we are getting the value of this C2. So C2 is under 5 male for patients. So we can say C2 and get the value from here. This will give us the under 5 male patients from the Excel file and from this sheet. Now let me add another variable, patients less than 5, but this time female, not male. And when we want to get the female's value, we can get it from D, and that will be D2. So let's process this one. We can say sheet D2 dot value. This will give us patients less than 5 female. And if we have a look again at this file, for getting over 5 male, we use column E. For getting over 5 female, we use column F. So this is becoming easier now. Let's say patients over 5 male, and this will be sheet E2 dot value. Then patients over 5 female, this will be sheet F2 dot value. So currently we got the values of all the variables from the patients category. This will give us the patients values. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is ARI cuff. So ARI cuff, for getting the cuff values, we will use again C3, D3, E3 and F3. So let me copy this, paste it here. Instead of patients, we will use cuff. And let me show you our trick in PyCharm. When we have multiple variables like this, we can select the first one, press Alt J to select the next one, Alt J, Alt J. Now we can rename all of them at once. We can say cuff, and this will give us cuff less than 5 male, cuff less than 5 female, and so on. Here in C2, D2, E2 and F2, we want to change the 2 to 3. So we can select the first one, press Alt J and press 3. It will change all of them at once. This trick is very helpful when we have a lot of code like this. Now what we need to do is to go through all these rows and add all that code there. So what I can do is to process this very fast, because you have learned it here using patients and cuff. Let me write the code myself and then come back to you later. Okay, I added all the remaining sections here, and you can understand just by having a look at it. So after that, what we need to do is to get the directory path and the file path for getting the month and state and the team name. So let's add this. You get the directory path first. dir path is equal to os.path.dir name, and we will pass the file here to get the directory path. Then we need to get the directory name from this directory path, and we can say os.path.base name to get the directory name from this directory path, dir path. Okay, that's it. Now we need to get the file name as well from this file path. So what we can do is to say that file name os.path.base name again, and this time pass the file variable. In this file variable, we have a complete path from the root directory till the file name, and from there we want to get this area from the root path till this directory name January 2023, and then we are assigning that to directory path. From this second statement using the directory path, then we are just getting this January 2023. So in this complete path, we are just getting this string Jan 2023, and then we are assigning that to directory name. So this will be the directory name that we are processing, and this will give us the month name January. After that, from this file path again, we are getting the file name, and the file name is this abc.xlsx. So this statement will give us this abc.xlsx. We need these two strings for now. So we are getting these two from these three statements. And now let's add a print statement. Print. We are processing this file. First directory name, and then let's add a slash, and then combine that with this file name, so we can understand that which file is being processed here. After that, what we need to do is to append all of this data that we are processing to that all sheet in the summary file. We got this all sheet in the summary file and we assigned that to this all sheet variable. So let's use this variable and then assign all the data to this variable. Let me say that all sheet dot append. The first thing that we need to append is, by using this summary structure, we need to append the month name, then the state, and then the team name, and then go on like this. We got the month name from this directory name, so what we need to do is to add a list, and using this list we can assign directory name first. The second name will be the file name abc.xlsx, which will give us the state name. Every file is named after the state name. So we can say that file name, and after that we need the team, and team is actually the sheet name, so we can say sheet name. And after this we have these patients, patient under 5 male, female, and then over 5 male and female. So let's add those variables. I'll quickly add those variables and then come back to you. Okay, I've added all these variables here that you can see. These are just the variable names that we had before. I added the directory name, file name, sheet name, then patients under 5 male, patients under 5 female, patients over 5 male, female, and then this list goes on till the end. We have IPV over 5 female. Now let's close these files and save them. So for that we need to get out of this loop. We will go to this top loop and this if condition. Inside this if condition we will save the files and then close the files. So let me add some lines here and say summary wb.save. Let's save it in the same path, os.path.join, and as we did before, path, and then combine it with summary.xlsx. Once this file is saved, let's close it, summary wb.close, and let's close the workbook that we are processing. That's it. So this is the entire script. What we did, we got the path of the folder where all the folders and files reside. Then we got all the file names and added those files along with the path to this files list. And then for each file in that list of files, we went to each sheet. We got the data from each sheets using different rows. We got the data, then we assigned that data to the summary file, and then at the end we saved the summary file in the same path. We close the summary path and we close the file that we are processing. This loop will run for each file that we have inside the folder, subfolders, and then we'll get the data and add that data to the summary file. Let's check this if it's processing correctly or not. Let me run the script. Before running the script, we need to close all the open files from those folders. So let me close this summary file. Let me close this alabama.xlsx, and let's now run this script. We can see that all the files are being processed, and this is the print statement that we added at the end to just see that which files are being processed currently. This July 2023 is the folder name, and inside that we are processing this file name. As you can see, the script has run successfully and we can see that all the files are processed. Let's now go back to the path and check this summary file whether the data is here or not. Let me open this, and surely we can see that we have the month name under the month column, state under the state column, team name under the team column, and then we have the data under each section. We have patients, ARI cuff, and till the end we have this entire data. If we check how many files were there that we processed, let me select all these rows and we can see that there is 912 files that we processed through the Python script within a few minutes. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I just tried to share my experience with you so you can also learn how to process different Excel files and get data from all those files, compile it into another file using a simple Python script and using few minutes of your time. Please let me know in the comments how would you process these files and how would you tackle this challenge. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, leave your comments and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.